do it. Just get out there and do it. I'll go back to when I got that phone call from Dick Vitale. I was a mom with 3 kids in the backyard, and my youngest was still little enough to be on my hip. And I had never been to a meeting. I didn't know who was on the city council. I had no idea. I didn't know exactly what they did. Did they get paid? I don't know. I mean, I really had no idea. And I had a couple days to decide if I wanted to run. And I don't know, yes. And so I did it. And I literally, I put my kids in a wagon, regular wagon, and we printed out flyers on my friend at home and cut them up. And it knocked on people's doors. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just spoke about, I had lived there all my life. So I had the background, I guess, in that. But I just knocked on people's doors and told them what I wanted and what I thought needed to change. And it was successful. But just get out. If you really want it and you can see the change that you want, just get out there and do it. There are no qualifications, there are no boxes to check. Just go put in, put in your application and go for it.
Yeah, do it. It would be my advice. A year and a half ago, it was not on my bucket list to be on city council in St. Paul. But I did it, and I'm so glad that I did. It's an amazing experience, and you can do it. I lived there for 3 years, and I didn't know a ton of people, but when you have a story of why you want to run and you can talk to people about something important in their community, they're going to get on board with you. And it's exciting to see that. It's exciting to see engagement when you knock on a stranger's door, or maybe they've heard about you from their neighbor, and they're so excited you're there. And it's a great opportunity, and even if you're not sure about it, talk to people that have done it. It's really hard. I'm not going to lie. It's really hard to do, but the end result is absolutely worth it. And, when we're talking to Jenny and John, it's like, if I don't win, I will at least be proud that I tried and that I showed people that if you believe in something, it's cool to fight for it. And it's worth it. It's like $20 to file West St. Paul. So it's definitely worth doing it.
I would say, also, yes, you just have to jump in. There's no handbook. I thought about writing one. But not because I am some great pool of knowledge, but rather because you just need somewhere to start, and you need some people that believe in it, and that are willing to put the work in with you. And I think that, again, was another reason why we were able to be successful, is that we started out with a kind of a core group of women, and they were ready to go. Whatever the task was, okay, I'll do that. Okay, I can take that one. Okay, I'll do this. And we all made a lot of sacrifices of our time, time away from our families. It was worthwhile and purposeful, maybe one of the most purposeful things I had done in my life. But you have to be prepared to do the work. I think that's like the biggest thing, is that it can't be something that you're like, I'll deal with that tomorrow. It's like, no, tonight we're going to sit down, we're going to hammer out a mission statement, we're going to have, everybody sign off on that. We've got to have plans for this. Who's going to be doing some door knocking? Who's, coming to city council next week? We had people who kind of like project managed a lot of things. And so I would say absolutely do it. Find your people that want to do it with you. The people who want to do it with you might really surprise you. They might be people that you wouldn't necessarily have come together socially for any reason, but some of these people have ended up being some of my closest friends. And make sure you're using everybody's talents. I think that's the other thing, is like, again, you're doing something in service of something. It's not for you. And so keeping your eye on the goal and making sure that everything you're doing is in service of that goal. Those are the types of things that will kind of keep that movement rolling, because everybody will feel like they have some buy-in, And we have this group of, especially in the admins, this really interesting mix of backgrounds. We had 2 librarians, so they were awesome at keeping us organized. And Wendy's in HR, and I'm a journalist, and so we had all these different kind of departments that you would think about things from all of those angles, like, okay, so you're gonna organize everybody to get to the city council meeting. That person's making sure we have enough chairs because it's gonna be standing room only. That person's calling all the media people to show up so we get something on the news that night. That person, and again, it's just doing the work, it's making the phone calls, and then I think you have to be unafraid because you're gonna make mistakes. You're probably gonna hurt somebody's feelings. And in our case, we had a very compressed amount of time in which we could do something. So when we look back at sort of our first year of WOW, there were a lot of things that we missed purely from a time perspective. We just couldn't. There weren't enough of us to do. But the awesome thing is that now that we've kind of turned the tide a little bit, now we can focus on some more of those things and say, okay, yes, we want more diversity in our group. We want, we want to do more educational stuff so that people understand how the city works, so that when they show up to city council meetings, it doesn't feel like Greek. And so all of those things, now we can start to work on those. And I think that's also very exciting for a lot of our members who are not so much interested in like the dramatics of the election and allegations,
I might say though, I think that even if you don't think that you have people, because when I ran for city council, I felt very alone, other than my family. I knew people because I lived there all my life, but I was just kind of doing it on my own, and I wrote my own stuff, and I wrote my own site, and I wrote my own, and did all of it myself with the help of my kids and my husband, right? But then after I did that, and after I got into office the first time, then I started to see my people, right? Then they started coming out and felt like, oh my gosh, did you see what she said about the park? Did you hear what she said about the park? And I never knew that those people were there, but I was just there, just saying all this stuff, right, about my experiences in the world. And so even if you don't feel like you have a big network, but you can feel that you have a message, just do it. Yeah. Just do it.
Yeah. And Katie was right. You don't know who your allies are going to be. And I even looked out of this audience, and I didn't know any of these people until I ran for office. And at that meeting when I said, "Hey, I'm gonna run for city council," I rewatched it like a month later, and like everyone's clapping. I wish Edie was in here. I looked over and I saw Edie clapping, and I was like, "This is why this is why I'm doing this." And just messages afterwards, and it was like, "Yeah, these are my people now," and they were people that I asked beforehand to say, if I run for city council, will you open?
Yeah.
And even I don't know, writing on about it. They're like people that would go door knocking for me like at night. Like Kevin's right here, and his son Milo's here. Milo would play Pokemon, and Kevin would knock on doors. Like he would come over and get another list. And there were so many people like that. I'm sure my neighbor was wondering why all these strange men were coming to my door. But they were male allies that were on board with this story and this change that we needed to make. And I didn't know they were my allies before. And so you never know. It's worth finding out.
It's kind of mind-blowing when I look back at old tapes of those first couple of meetings, because we didn't even know all of each other's names at those meetings when we got up and spoke necessarily. We weren't really on a first-name basis with people. And so to look back at that now, which really was not that long ago, and be like, wow, yeah, we've spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours together now, getting to know each other as human beings besides activists or running for office. But it's a very cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I've got one last question, and then I want to make sure we have a few minutes for any audience questions that we might have time for. So my last question for you all is, has to do with the concept of symbolic representation that we talk about in women in politics and political science generally, which is the idea that people from politically underrepresented groups, in this case, which is still women, get something tangible and important from seeing someone like them in office, as we already discussed here. That they see the representative as standing for them in office. And so we're really talking about sort of a role model effect, which again, you all have brought up a number of times tonight. But I'm just wondering if you can think a little bit about the impact that you hope this movement that you've all been a part of together will have on citizens, all kinds of citizens in your community. Not just people who've been following the story closely, and not just people who have been your allies or part of WOW or supported, anybody's run for office, but everyone in West St. Paul, and really everyone who's followed this story outside of West St. Paul. I don't live in West St. Paul. I really wished and gosh I did. I would be surprised. Yes, seriously. So there's an effect really on those of us in one more suburb out of West St. Paul. That those of us who've been following the story, we're still paying attention and we're still sort of rooting for you. And so I'm just wondering what kind of impact do you hope you have, sort of longer term, by going through all of this, which has not been an easy road. It's been great, obviously, but you've had some challenges.
I think one thing that I think of all the time when people ask about this is my youngest daughter. At one time when I was on city council, and we were at the West St. Paul Ice Rink, as we often are. And we were in the parking lot, and we were walking up to the car, and we saw one who used to be the mayor of Dakota Heights, Sandra Krebsbach. And she was mayor at the time. And I also knew her because I knew her daughter when we were in high school together, right? And so I had sleepovers at her house, and she remembered me and saw me in the parking lot and said hi. And my daughter Hazel said, "Oh, who's that?" I said, "Oh, it's somebody's mom, right? Friend of mine." And she's also the mayor of Dakota Heights. And she looked at me and she said, "Those can be mayors too?" I mean, literally, that's what she said. I said, "Yeah, of course they can." But then I thought about it, and she had never really seen that in her own community. And oh my God, well, I hope that that's certainly something that we change, But I think also on a larger scale, we talk about representation matters and the reasons. And one of them is that I hope that it instills more trust in our local government at this level, right? Because when people see somebody that looks like them and that lives like them, maybe their housing situation is different, their modes of transportation are different, they look different, their income levels are different, their professions are different, then they feel, and that's why I said if you have a message, just get out there, because people will come to you. Then they feel comfortable sharing with you. We have issues with police, and with all different levels in all of our communities. And I think that if we can get people who represent our communities in elected positions, then our underrepresented communities have that voice and we can start to work towards solving those problems. Because like I said, even the people with the best of intentions who are in overrepresented communities just cannot. They can't even identify the issue. They can't identify the need, much less work towards solving it. Right? So I sure hope that that's something we can do, at least on a small level.
I think our local cable channel just did a 7-minute clip on Lisa and I being the first time West St. Paul's had 2 women on West St. Paul, or 2 women on City Council. I don't want to have those anymore. I don't be like, oh, this is the first time this, is the first time that. It's cool to have that title, but let's just, when there will be 6 and a mayor, that'll be enough, and I don't know, I hope people see that. I hope people say, I don't have to live in this town my whole life to run for city council. I don't have to be retired or a business owner or, live in a huge house. I want people to see that, it's hard. You can be a parent and you can still do this. You can have little kids and you can do this. Because that's what our town is made up of. It's not made up of what our council has been in the past. And so when you see someone you relate to representing you, you feel hurt. You feel a little hurt. You feel like your voice matters. And I think that's what's important.
I'm in the midst of reading Michelle Obama's book, so I have a lot of her quotes kind of floating around in my mind, but she recently, probably in the last 6 months, was quoted as saying, I've seen people that sit around those tables, okay, and they're not that smart. What I think I take from that and what I want other people to take from that is not so much denigrating other people, but sometimes, but that you don't have to have a set of prescribed qualifications to make a difference in your community. You don't have to have a journalism and political science degree to call the media and say, hey, did you know this is going on? You don't have to, you can just go do it. You can. And I think that's the biggest thing is that empowerment. Because once you get rolling and once those people start coming to you because of your message and you get a little taste of success, always helps, then you want to keep doing it. But the most important part is to actually go do that. And I just want people to know that, like, there was nothing in our group of women. They're all fabulous and wonderful and amazing and smart and funny. And maybe that's the most important thing, is a really good sense of humor. But there was nothing in that group of women that was like, well, obviously, because they were all educated at Yale, and you know what I mean? It was like, no, we were just devoted, and we were willing to share the work, and that's what I really think people need to know.
But I hope, and I won't be talking about, I hope that we are able to be kind of a case study, right, that's carried forward on this solidarity piece that we talked about, that none of us can quite put our finger on. But I will never forget that night when I had my first rough draft, and it was me and my husband and John and Callie, and I read it, and crying here and there over it, and Callie came over, jumped on the couch right next to me, and she grabbed my hand, and she's, Jenny, we believe you, we are with you. And I have never felt that kind of support from a woman that, I didn't really know Kelly that well. I knew John better than I knew Kelly at the time. But I believed her. I said, oh my God, this is really happening. And I hope that every woman out there can feel that at least at some point in their lives, because it's really, really remarkable.
Yeah. In order for people to feel that, they have to be willing to say it out loud, like you noted, right? I mean, that's the really important part of the story that I think is a really important part of that solidarity piece too. I mean, from an outside perspective, it sure seems important to these two seem to think so too. But I think that, if we put our finger on something, at least the sharing of the words is really important too. So, whew. Do you have questions? Oh, Deborah, I think that's a question. I think we have people with microphones ready to spring into action.
I'll speak loud.
Deborah's in communication.
Yeah, and I also study women in politics.
Yes.
So first of all, thank you to everyone who put this event together. This was just awesome. And for those of you who presented, this has just been an amazing evening, and we've talked about this as a case study, and I hope you'll keep coming back and updating us on the wonderful world of West St. Paul. Throughout all of this, I have this burning question. Did these people who didn't want you at the table, these people who, I don't know, didn't sleep at night thinking of ways to harass you, and worse yet, the death threats, the social media trolling that you and other women who put themselves out there face, whether you're journalists or athletes or politicians, it's horrible what you go through. Did these people ever show their hand to you? When you were thinking about how to respond in a civil way, you kind of have to have a sense of where they're coming from. And did you have a sense of how and why they thought you were disrupting the social order? Were they fearful of you, or what was in your head when you would think about this process and why all of this resistance?
No, go ahead.
Give a nice one.
They were afraid, and I knew that they were afraid. I didn't know it at first. When I first was a member of our city council, I was the one that was afraid. and every time I spoke, my voice dropped. You know, and if you would go back, I don't know if those videos are still up there somewhere, but I mean, you can hear it, my voice quivering, right? But like I was saying before, the more I spoke, the more I heard from other people saying, yeah, you're right, can you say that again? Can you push for that some more? And then my voice got a little stronger and a little louder, and then the pushback got a little harder and a little stronger and a little more consistent. And so I'm sure it was because they were afraid. They have been in control of local government, and like we said then, a lot of people's lives, to a certain extent locally, for, I don't know, for decades. Right, and there's a very small group. When I say they, it's a very small group.
You're right.
And they knew, right, that if, because I didn't get, when I initially ran for city council, I didn't get endorsements from anybody. I didn't seek out the people who people were telling me to ask for their support. I just ran. Because I didn't want, and I didn't want to be tied to anybody, and I didn't know enough about it anyways. And so and I'm sure, looking back, I'm sure I was a threat in that way too. Oh my God, and more people are coming to say that she's right? Whoa, you know, we can't have that, because what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? You guys can go ahead. I'm sure that it was a lot of fear of disrupting that.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't afraid, but the only reason I wasn't afraid was because of Jenny. I mean, otherwise, it would have been terrifying. And it was fear-based, it's still fear-based, you know, they really struggle with, especially me, you know, a queer woman in office that maybe beat some of them in the election. There go my tires. It's the red Pontiac guy, which I told some of them in a meeting because
At least get the right card.
because get the right car, and I'm not scared of them. I mean, they're children. They're not, but they're acting like children, and that's what kids do, you know? When they don't get their way, they throw a fit. And that's what it feels like. But again, it could be scary. Really, the only reason honestly, was because Jenny had been through it, and I don't even know. I mean, why you protect me? I don't know. But like, I didn't feel that fear. I felt that drive to be like, nope, you were done. You were completely irrelevant, and now it's time for you to step aside where people actually care about the community and come forward and represent the community.
I think there were moments where I was a little freaked out. I moved in the process of this whole situation, still within West St. Paul. Amazon delivery guy can't find my house, but they did. Google Maps can't find my house, but they did. So, you know, and it was the first meeting in which we had heard that there may be some flap from the other side, these they people. And, you know, we had someone open carry a